Today, how brain science can help all of us make smarter money decisions when we lose our confidence. Hi, I'm Graeme Newell, and I use the latest brain science insights to show you how to make smarter money decisions. My speeches and webinars teach how to recognize the signs that an impulsive decision might be likely. Click on subscribe and the bell below to see more of my videos. Brace yourself, the death roster is in. Each year, Chapman University surveys more than 1,000 people. They ask them to rank the things that freak them out the most. For the past 3 years, one fear has clearly beat out all the others. Can you guess what it was? Cancer? Car wrecks? Gun violence? Nope, the #1 American fear was government corruption. Here's the complete list. Now, if you take a close look at these top fears, you might notice something interesting. Sure, all these things on this list are really bad, but most of these things don't directly threaten our personal safety. Corruption is bad, but it's probably not going to kill us. Here's the list of the things that actually kill us by the millions. Yet Americans are more frightened by a crooked politician than they are by illnesses such as heart disease and cancer. Why are humans so incredibly bad at assessing risk? Part of the reason is a cognitive bias called the availability heuristic. It causes us to fear things we can easily bring up from memory. We watch the evening news and get all freaked out. Then we tend to believe that the problems we hear about right now are the ones that are the most dire. So let's look back a few years to the 2016 list of top fears. Next, let's compare those fears with the list for 2019. What you'll notice is that the list shares just 3 of 9 fears. What we feared most changed pretty dramatically in just a few years. Now let's take another look at the list of things that actually kill us. What you'll notice is that between 2016 and 2019, nothing changed. And for decade after decade, the things that kill us have remained pretty much constant. So let's think back. Can any of us even remember the events that drove our greatest fears in 2016? I know there was an election, but that's about all I can recall. Well, let me refresh your memory on the top stories of that year. Brexit was going to take down the world economy. The Zika virus was going to maim our children. Russian hackers were going to corrupt our government. Mass shootings were going to kill thousands. And just like Flint, Michigan, America's water supply would be contaminated. None of these events came to pass. So why were we so frightened? What you'll notice about all these events is that they were incredibly dramatic. Over millions of years of evolution, our primitive brains learned to prioritize immediate threats. The fear centers of our brains are located right next to our brainstem. Fear isn't a higher brain function, it's instinctual. The things we fear were optimized for the threats faced by ancient cavemen. And what killed them were immediate dangers like injuries, starvation, and predators. Cavemen lived short, brutal lives. No one survived long enough to worry about heart disease or cancer. Unfortunately, our very ancient brains haven't had time to evolve and optimize for handling today's modern problems. So every time the latest disaster headline flashes, your primitive brain clears the decks of every other thought in your head. This worked really well out on the African savanna. Giving your full attention to that cheetah trying to eat you was a fantastically effective use of your brain power. Nowadays, being eaten by predators isn't at the top of our worry list, but unfortunately, our ancient caveman brain hasn't had time to evolve. Our brain isn't optimized to deal with modern problems. We're still instinctually compelled to give any immediate threat our full attention. This continual triggering of our fear response has its greatest impact in the world of finance. Financial news services continually sound the alarm for every blip and turn in the market. A lot of us feel our very rational brains are immune to this kind of apocalyptic chatter. But fear isn't a rational thing. It's deeply instinctual. And no matter how detached you think you may be, your instinctual brain is still going to feel the effects. If you'd like to hear the fascinating story of how the availability heuristic has strangely boosted the fortunes of Warren Buffett, just click on the info card right here. So how can you minimize the effects of the availability heuristic? The secret is to carefully control who gets access to your subconscious brain. Now me, I get my news through my Twitter feed, but I'm careful never to read the general feed. I've built specific lists that consist solely of calm and smart sources. Most importantly, I stay away from any news source that ever uses the words breaking news. Right now, I'm working on another video on how cognitive bias tempts us to make bad financial choices. If you'd like to be alerted when that video is completed, just click on my face below to subscribe. And be sure to click that alert bell too. And I've created tons more videos on how brain science can help you make smarter money choices. Click on this box to see the full playlist. I'm Graeme Newell, and that's Better Decisions Through Brain Science.